All right, y'all. Time to start this overview. And in this video, I'll be going over my thoughts after using the X5 for the past few months from the viewpoint of a professional real estate photographer running a team of creatives. I'm going to talk about how it operates. I'm also going to talk about how it compares to the X4 since I still have a few of those. And I'm going to talk about a few of the quirks I have discovered with this camera in the process. Now, just throw this out there right in the beginning, there is not a single category that I'm going to cover today where I actually prefer the X4 over the X5. This X5 wins in every category. So if you're here to decide between the two of those cameras, as long as you have the money, the X5 is hands down the best winner here, or the best bang for your buck, should I say. I'll also be showing you unedited and edited footage so you can hopefully get a really good idea of what this camera's capabilities are and how that fits into your personal workflow. Lastly, this camera was sent to me by Insta360 for testing over the past few months. Now, no money has exchanged hands. They have absolutely zero restrictions on what I can or cannot talk about during this video. Everything I talk about here are my exact thoughts and, of course, my workflows with the X5 on site. This video is sponsored by Zimmer's Coffee, my Turkish coffee company, but more about that, or me, I guess, at the very end of the video. Overall, the camera is extremely sturdy and it feels well built in the hands. I love the fact that they took the cooling cage from the X4 away and kind of just redesigned this back panel of the X5 to not require that secondary piece. I've gotten the camera to heat up shooting long exterior videos on hot days, but I have yet to have the camera just completely shut off or stop working from overheating, even though you can feel the warmth on your hands on the outside. Now, up on the screen right now is a shot of the camera shooting 8K 30 frames a second for roughly 4 hours straight before it shuts off from a dead battery and never once overheated. Hope that helps you if you're curious about its overheating in 8K mode. I'm also a huge fan of the redesigned lenses meant for replacement. Now the X4, it has the lens covers, which it's a good idea, but I noticed quite a bit of image degradation with those lens covers attached, and I talk about that a lot in my old videos going over the X4. With the X5, they've redesigned it completely. So now if you scratch or damage one of these lenses right here on the top, hey, look at that. You can easily swap it out for a new one. Man, this is such a great idea. And overall, it ensures you'll always have the clean glass for your shots, which is more important than those covers. I honestly believe that whatever this material they're using now for the new lenses on the X5 are, well, I think it's superior to the X4 because I have yet to damage one, and you all know I'm super clumsy, and I've already dropped this thing a bunch of times. It's got a couple little scuffs here and there. I still don't see any scratches on the lens yet, so as soon as I actually need to replace one of these guys, I'll be making a dedicated video about that process in particular. Now, when you look on here, it does still have the little nubbins on the frame left over from the X4 design, but after many attempts, I've realized that the lens covers from the X4 will not fit on here, no matter how much pressure you apply in the process. So do yourself a favor and skip trying. All right, let's go over the video for this camera since it's what most people are going to be using it for. I'm going to be talking about the first place the X4's video really starts to fall apart. Interior video, especially in low light environments. From my experience so far, the X5 really is a notch up in quality in video mode from the X4 when shooting my indoor real estate videos. The color rendition is much more accurate, the sharpness is much cleaner, it looks noticeably better with the reduction of grain from the X4 and the same exact shooting location environments. Overall, the video clips I get for my real estate work on the X5 are actually much more comparable to the video produced by the Ace Pro 2 instead of the X4 and the way it looks and the way it edits. I have an entire video going over my real estate findings. I'll put that up here. So you can check that out once this video is over for a deeper dive there if you're interested in shooting real estate in particular with this camera. The camera has so many shooting options, it would take 30 minutes to cover them all. So instead, I'm going to give you a few of my favorite settings based on the scenarios I'm actually shooting. First off, let's talk real estate shoots, since that's why the majority of you here and the majority of what I talk about, I guess. For my real estate tours, I'm using the settings you see up on screen now for the majority of my shoots. And when I encounter extremely dark areas of the shoot or super dark rooms, I switch over to pure video mode and I use these settings instead. Honestly, it doesn't matter what I'm shooting. These two settings cover the gambit of basically all of my filming for exterior and interior stuff. I'll also go into full 8K unless I need to slow things down in post, because 30 frames a second is the fastest you're going to get in 8K mode. I personally noticed no easily discernible difference in the 8K and the 5.7K in the final output when using pure video in particular. So feel free to save yourself some data and use the 5.7K. It's definitely good enough. The one feature I myself am completely guilty of sleeping on is the hyperlapse feature of the camera. They call it TimeShift. I shoot a lot of properties with long driveways, and agents always want to feature them. But doing this on my Sony with the gimbal is kind of always a huge pain in the butt, and it's extremely tiresome lugging all that gear up and down. I just tested out this feature as I'm writing this final script, and I feel like a fool, honestly, for not thinking about this before. I will 100% be using this from now on as my hyperlapse tool, but I did notice sometimes it tends to happen at the end of the video where it just kind of like, if you hold it still trying to get that final frame, it continues to rotate. I don't know, maybe that's a software glitch. I sent Tom an email, so maybe it'll be updated with this next update. With the X4, I really love the idea of the single lens shot, so you can use this camera more like a regular camera for some walking and talking vlog style action shots like I'm doing right now. But honestly, I found the quality to be a little bit lackluster. I found it more useful and easier to just shoot on the 360 mode and do a slight reframe in post with direction lock, just like I do with my real estate videos. Now, the X5, it actually really steps it up because I'm using it right now. It steps up the quality of this shooting for the single lens mode. I think it's because the 8K capabilities allow for this single lens mode sensor to shoot a 4K readout, which greatly increases not only the quality and in the process, the usability of this feature, turning it into an actual feature and less of like a little gimmick, kind of like it was before. See, now you can see my outside. For my own personal workflow, this means that I can kind of leave my Ace Pro 2 in the truck and use this for any talking head stuff I need to do on the fly, since I'm already using it for my 360 tours. And yes, you can choose if you want to hit yourself in the head or if you want vertical or horizontal layouts in this mode as well. Another cool feature added here is a button for screenshots. Now, I'm not saying this is going to be super useful and I use it a bunch of times, but I have used it just a few times, and it was pretty clutch to not have to switch over to photo and video to just be able to take that photo. I've got this out and hit myself in the head with it because bullet time was another one of those extremely cool features I was excited about with the introduction of the X4, but again, with the X5, I have found no use for it in my professional workflow. But it's an interesting niche mode for personal projects for sure. I have used it a few times on both the X4 and the X5. I do have a specialty rig I'm kind of working on right now to incorporate this feature for future agent videos, those willing to try it, but that's not quite fleshed out yet. The X5 has a better output, and I personally prefer the 3K 240 frames a second setting because you all know I love my slow-mo shots. I will say their new bullet time tripod that I keep hitting myself in the head with is far superior to the one they made with the X4, and I believe it was with the X3 as well. The ability to change the angles right here, that's super cool. It makes the experience much more user-friendly, and it's the entire reason I can even start working on this new concept I just brought up. For more on that in future videos. Now, let's jump on over to the still imagery side of the X5. They've taken a step back when it comes to the photo mode, and I mean that in the most positive of ways. See, on the X4, my biggest gripe was the removal of the auto exposure bracket images in a RAW format. Because of that, I always had to recommend the super old 1RS 1-inch 360 edition. Not only is that camera a bit outdated, but they don't actually make parts for it anymore, which is kind of annoying. And it also has the longest name ever, so it's extra annoying to type out when anyone is asking that question in comments. Well, the X5 has brought back the auto bracketing for us professionals, and let me tell you, it feels so good. Now, I've done some of my own personal testing, and believe it or not, that old 1RS 1-inch 360 edition, man, with its 1-inch sensor, is laid equal to the X5. The one is still slightly better, but I'm talking about really pixel peeping here, and realistically, you can make up for that with expanded bracket options on the X5. Your agents will never notice the difference because I'll tell you, mine sure have not. I have an entire video where I go over how I use the X5 for these real estate shoots right up here again. So again, if you want to check that one out also after this video, feel free. That's pretty much the juice and well worth the squeeze as someone who used the X4 all the time for my professional workflow. My biggest gripe with the camera is that Zillow still only accepts the X4 images for its 3D tour, so I still have to carry both the X4 and the X5 until that's updated in their software. Same thing with Matterport. Whenever that changes, I'll make sure to make videos going over those processes as well. Comment down below if you have any further questions for me or the community who's kind of out there also using this camera. Think about supporting the channel by purchasing some of my delicious coffee from Zimmer's Coffee for your morning wake-up routine or just your evening chill-out coffee sessions. That's when I like it the most personally. YouTube thinks you're going to like this video right over here next, so make sure to check it out if you have some time. I'll catch you next time.